How do we figure out the midpoint of a line? Let me give you an example. Let's say we're given 2 points. We're told that point A is 6, 4, and we're told that point B is -2, -3. Well, let's just graph this out so we know what we're talking about. So we have our xy plane here. So the point A, 6, 4, we can plot that, right? So we go to 6, go up to 4, put it there, right? That's your point A. And then we have point B at -2, -3. So -2, say that's -3, put the point right there. And we get a line that goes something like this. Okay? Now what's the midpoint? Well, the midpoint is the point that's right in the middle, halfway between A and B. So if you're walking from B to A, when you're halfway there, that's the midpoint. Okay? So how do we figure that out? Well, all the midpoint is it's the average of your x values and your average of your y values. So if you think between -2 and 6, what's halfway between those two? That's going to be the x value here. And if you think what's halfway between -3 and 4, that's the y value there. And that's all you have to do. Now you can think of it like that and just figure it out on your own, or you can use this equation that basically takes all that into account. So if you want to find the midpoint is equal to x1 plus x2 over 2 and y1 plus y2 over 2. And that's a point, right? That's why there's brackets and a comma here. This is the x value, this is the y value. And it's describing the exact same thing I just talked about. When you say x1 plus x2 over 2, that's just the average or the middle between those two x values, -2 and 6. That's how you calculate the average. You add them together, divide it by 2. So let's do that, right? -2 plus 6 over 2, and then the y values, -3 plus 4 over 2. What do we get? Well, 6 minus 2, that's going to be 4, which over 2 becomes 2. And over here, -3 plus 4 is 1, 1 over 2 is a half. So the midpoint's at 2, 1/2. So this point is 2, and this up here, the value is 1/2. So the midpoint is at 2, 1/2. Right? Because if you think about it, 2 is halfway between -2 and 6, right? You go 1, 2, 3, 4 to get to 6, right? Because you start at 2, you get to 3, 4, 5, 6. And if you go to the left 4, you go 1, 0, -1, -2. So it's also 4 away from -2. So it's right in the middle, right? And if you think about 1/2, it's the exact same story. How far is 1/2 from 4? Well, if you're at 4, you go to 3, you go to 2, you go to 1, and then you don't go to 0, you go to a half. So it's 3.5 spaces away. How far is it from -3? Well, if you start at -3, you go -2, -1, 0. You don't go quite to 1, you go to a half. So this is also 3.5 spaces away, right? So 1/2 is right in the middle. So if you want to think about it like that, you can just do that. Figure out where the halfway point is. You don't have to use the equation, but the equation certainly helps to keep things organized. So let's do one more example where we use the equation. Let's say point A is 2, 7, and we'll say that point B is 6, 1. And I'm going to ask you, where's the midpoint? Okay, so the midpoint is equal to the average of the x values, so 2 plus 6 over 2, and the average of the y values, so 7 plus 1 over 2. Well, 2 plus 6 is 8, over 2 is 4. 7 plus 1 is also 8, over 2 is 4. So the midpoint's at 4, 4. So if you were thinking about what this looks like, and you wanted to graph it, you could say, all right, A is at 2, 7, so 2, say that's up there at 7. And then point B is going to be at 6, 1, so 6, and then that's at a height of 1. So that's point B. Connect those lines together, just like that. Where's the midpoint? Well, it's at 4, 4, right there. See that? Because 4 is halfway between 2 and 6, and 4 is also halfway between 1 and 7. That gives you the halfway point on the line. That's all there is to it.